Hello everyone. Today we are talking about 4 old Scots laws that could still be legal today. How are you all? Hope you're all happy and healthy and well out there wherever you are. It's nice to see you all. I'm in town today because I just felt this is the right place to come. And we're going to talk about 4 old Scottish laws that could, I think, are still legal today. But just before we get started, if you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button, come join Clan Broonford. It would really mean the world to me. But let's talk laws. So I'm on the Royal Mile for a reason, kind of because this is kind of apt for this video. Parliament Square, right here. Well, West Parliament Square here, and then kind of behind St Giles here as well, because this is a site of the Old Scottish Parliament where these sort of laws probably would have, been concocted, but also because right there, that's the High Court opposite us right there, so we're kind of in the centre of the legal hub of Edinburgh. That's the High Court, the highest court in the land. And then if we go back here behind St Giles, I've never actually been in to what was the Old Scottish Parliament before the Treaty of Union. And now it's all kind of courts and things like that, I think. So yeah, so you've got behind here as well, all the old sort of, Parliament, essentially. And not forgetting, parking space number 23, John Knox's grave. The same as anywhere, laws get created which are apt for the time, and then over time, they get forgotten about. They become obsolete, but no one ever actually gets round to getting rid of them because they're not being used, so they just disappear into the ether, and then people like me trudge them up and say, did you know? So on that, did you know it is still law that if you need the toilet, if you need to pee, you are allowed to go up to anyone and ask to use a toilet, and legally they have to let you. Now this is a funny one. I suppose they're all quite funny. It kind of extends from an old Scottish common law which extends all hospitality to all guests. So it's pushing it a little bit, but yeah, if you need the toilet, legally you can go up to someone's house and say, can I use the toilet? Now it's a funny one because I don't think it's ever actually been enforced. Like I said, it's common law, so I don't know what the legal stance is at. I don't know if you've noticed. Not a lawyer, but with that, can you imagine just knocking on someone's house anywhere? People live there, there's flats in there, it's at the Royal Mile. If I just went to one of those houses, knocked on the door and said, hiya, can I use your toilet? To which I would promptly get a door slammed in my face, probably, and maybe a few choice words. But can you imagine me then phoning the police and saying, sorry, I asked to use a toilet and they didn't let me? Can I say, I am busting and they are not letting me use the lavvy? It would properly, I would slam the door in someone's face, I'm sure you would as well, but I would be breaking the law. Old Scots common law, but I would be breaking the law. Breaking the law. Moving on. It's funny, whenever I'm standing in this sort of space, I've done a couple of videos in this area. Well, I've done a lot of videos on the Royal Mile. I'm talking about this specific area, and there's one that always pops into mind. It's when I was telling the story of Deacon Brodie, which is one of my favourite Edinburgh historical stories. If you haven't seen it, I will leave a link in the corner and in the description. Go check it out. But the reason that it always pops into mind, apart from the fact it's one of my favourite, is because there was a blizzard. A massive blizzard hit on that day. The whole city came to a standstill, and I was in town filming. I randomly came into town because I needed to do a video that week, and it's probably the only day I could, because it got worse and worse and worse, so all traffic had to stop. So I'm wandering about here, snow building in my beard as the video went on, me getting gradually colder. Like I said, go check it out. Anyway, the Royal Mile has loads of pubs. There's Deacon Brodie's Tavern, funnily enough, right there. Pubs all the way down. But it used to have a lot more. At one point, essentially, all it was pubs and brothels and things like that all the way down. So people would be a little bit tipsy. You know, they would possibly have a drink or two when they're wandering about this area. However, it is illegal to be in possession of a cow whilst drunk. This is one that actually we used to, when I used to work at the Edinburgh Dungeons, if we were trying to fill a little bit of time, because everything's timed, if the show ran a little bit short, you would, in one of the shows, you would sprout some of these little laws, and this was one of them. That it's illegal to be in possession of a cow whilst you're drunk. It's actually not the full law. It's actually illegal to be in possession of a cow, a horse, carriage, or steam train, or a loaded firearm whilst drunk. When you hear the full law, it kind of makes sense, because cow, horse, carriage, steam train, it's a drink driving law. Not that you'd drive a cow. I suppose you have to steer a cow. I don't think you would get on the back and ride it, but well, maybe they did, I don't know. But yeah, so it's essentially a drink driving law, with an added, also don't have a loaded gun while you're drunk. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Still funny, but makes perfect sense. I still have absolutely no issue with don't be drunk whilst in possession of a gun, and also don't be drunk whilst riding on a cow or a horse or a carriage or is driving a steam train. That's okay. But it's just the cow bit. When you just hear that bit alone, please don't be drunk whilst in possession of a cow. Can you imagine some guy walking down the Royal Mile? He's went into his favourite tavern. He's been to market. He's maybe bought himself a cow. You don't know. He could have bought a cow. Don't judge him. He might have needed a cow. So he's bought a cow. And he's really happy. He's happy with buying this cow. And he went, you know what? I'm going to celebrate. I'm going for a drink. So he's went in to his nearest public establishment and bought himself a wee drink, or two, or three. And then he went, oh, I'm going to get home. And he's walked out. He's went, my cow. This is my cow. I'll better take my cow home. So he's trying to walk down the street, drunk, with a cow. The cow's no happy. This isn't what the cow signed up for. And now the cow's going, "Rrrr." That's my cow impression. "Rrrr." The cow's not want to go. He's arguing with the cow. The cow's arguing back, and the policeman comes along and says, excuse me, sonny. Is this your cow? Can I see your license and registration, please? You had a drink today, son. He said, oh, officer, I'm absolutely fine. It's just I can't get my cow down the mile. I could go on, but I won't. So please remember, when you're here, don't be drunk whilst in possession of a cow. Also, if you were caught being drunk in possession of a cow, or with a horse, or on a cart, or all these things, or a steam train, it was 51 weeks in jail. Not a full year. It's not worth a full year. 51. It's just, it's a stern warning. You know, it's like, we won't put you in jail for a full year. Just short. 51 weeks. That's what you're getting. So I've came just off the Royal Mile onto George IV Bridge, and the reason I've came here is because there's a couple of things here that help illustrate my point. So here is the National Library of Scotland, only just recently reopened actually. However, things are tightening up here again in Scotland, as they are all over Britain, but I think it has still reopened. You may have to book, believe it or not. You have to book to get a book. I don't know where they come from, honestly, I really don't. The National Library of Scotland, right here, definitely worth a visit if you ever get the opportunity. And across the other side, yes, and directly opposite, although currently closed, we have the Central Library as well. So we've got a couple of libraries. The reason that I'm pointing out libraries, because did you know it is illegal for you to gamble in the library? It doesn't just ban gambling, it also bans the use of abusive language with a fine of up to 40 shillings. I don't know what that would be in today's money, if anyone's able to tell me, and I'm not quite sure where it came from, apart from probably just a behavioural order. I don't know how much gambling must be going on in libraries that they felt that this law had to come in. When I'm thinking, you know, I'm guessing the bad language, the do not swear and everything, came from the gambling. You know, people be gambling and they'd lose, and then a couple of profanities may slip out of their mouth. But why people were gambling in libraries to an extent where they felt that they had to make a law to stop it, I don't know. And just for our last law, we're heading up to the castle. And here we are on the castle esplanade with Edinburgh Castle, looking as beautiful as ever. Quieter here than it normally is, but still as beautiful. Now, the reason I came here is because, I don't know if you can see from here, but we'll zoom in. Edinburgh Castle, upon its barricades, has many cannons. You see them poking out there? Each one of those has a cannon. It is illegal to fire a cannon within 300 yards of the residence of someone. So you're not allowed to fire a cannon within 300 yards of someone's house. So, Edinburgh, I kind of get this one. I mean, this is a noise thing. You know, someone's trying to sleep and then all of a sudden you fire a cannon. They're going to get a little bit peeved, but cannon, someone's house. That's the nearest residence to Edinburgh Castle. That creamy building right there. People live there. Can you imagine living there with a tattoo every night? It must be incredible. But I can't get exact. Obviously, I can't get exact. But it'd be good to try to measure to see 300 yards. I don't know what 300 yards looks like. But 1 yard is 3 feet. And the average stride is roughly a yard. Now, I can't go right up. There's barriers there. I can't go right up the barrier, so I'll go as close as I can to a kind of cannon. As close as I can, and the most direct, so roughly about there, let's see. That about there. There's the entrance. There's the things. I'm allowed to stand there, so roughly there. We'll have to add a little bit of distance. We'll go here, and that is the most direct route to the houses, and we'll see if this is more than 300 yards. I mean, going from there to there is probably more than 100 yards, but it's fun anyway. Let's see what we can do. This is about the closest point I can get in direct line of cannons. I don't know how far that is. We've got the moat and the thing there, so I'm going to guess it's got to be over 300 yards, just in case you didn't know. William Wallace, Robert the Bruce, just at the castle gates there, just looking after the place for me, because it's my castle. Did you not know? Anyway, and turning slowly round, but not that slow, there is the nearest residence. So if this from here to there is less than 300 yards, there is a chance that every time they fire a cannon that they're breaking the law. However, the only cannon that does get, oh no, they get fired. I'm sure they get fired. Did they get fired during like the tattoo or New Year or something? The 1 o'clock gun is over there. That's definitely over 300 yards. But let's see, 300 yards. $95, $96, $97, $98, $99, $100. Now, that's 100 yards, roughly. By no means a scientific measurement, but I am very close to that house. Now, I still have 100 yards from that point and 100 yards from this point, and we know that 100 yards is roughly about that size. I can definitely reach the house in far less than 100, and I would say, going by the crow flies, I could reach most of those cannons if it was possible for me to walk in a straight line from there to there. I am sure to the 1 o'clock gun to there is 300 yards. However, have we just discovered that if they fire any of those cannons, they're breaking an Old Scots law. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't expect that. I really thought that it was going to be miles away. Detective Tony Broonford of Old Scots Law. I'll just have to knock on the castle, say, excuse me, we believe you're breaking the law. Are you in possession of a cannon? Can I ask the position of the cannon in relevance to the nearest residence, which is those houses right there? Can I ask who the owner of this castle is? Oh, the Queen. Well, I feel we may have to have a word with the Queen about the firing of our cannons, because the people here are tired of the noise. 4 Old Scots laws that I think are still legal today. That last one was brilliant. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that today. I hope you did as well. If you did, please remember, hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think, especially about the cannon one. That's fascinating. That's really fascinating. That's really interesting. But also, if you haven't already, and please do, hit that subscribe button. It would genuinely mean the world to me. I'm going to get run over by a van. The army almost run me over there. Till next time, bye humans.